We were meeting in Dallas, Texas around the All-Star game. Mickey Mantle had already been on Betty Ford. He'd had a poignant interview on national television with Bob Costas where he said, "I don't drink anymore." He said, "I haven't been a good father, haven't been a good husband." Boy, it took a lot of courage for him to stand up looking the way he did and to admit that. And then he closed out by saying, "But I still have a void in my heart. I don't have a real peace." Well, we spent some time together. In fact, my phone rang at that All-Star game. Mickey at that time called up. He was at Baylor Medical Center. He'd already been in the hospital for a while. He'd had a liver transplant, and he was in the midst of chemotherapy. And he asked me for prayer. In fact, my wife Betsy answered the phone at 5 o'clock in the morning, and Mickey just said to her, "I want Bobby to pray for me." We had prayer together on the phone. Betsy went out and spent the next 2 nights with his wife, Merlin. And then as I visited Mickey, he said, "Don't forget now, you're to have my funeral." Well, I came back home to South Carolina, and about 3 weeks later, the call came. He'd taken a turn for the worse, and the family wanted Betsy and I to come out and be with him in Dallas. Immediately, we were on a plane together, and we were flying back toward Dallas, and I started remembering those times that we'd had together. We had the place together at Boone, North Carolina, where I remember we were both grand marshals of a ski festival. He didn't know how to ski, I didn't know how to ski, but we filmed it on a lift like we knew what we were doing. He came to University of South Carolina. We had this wonderful instructional film series that educational TV used for so long. Came to my home in Sumter and gave away 2,000 Mickey Mantle bats to the first 2,000 young boys that would come with their dads to the ball game. He gave a batting exhibition. And then all of a sudden we were on that plane flying back toward Dallas, and he was deteriorating in his health. I remember dropping Betsy off, went into the Baylor Medical Center, and he'd been listening to an interview by Pete Maravich, the wonderful basketball player that had such a change in his life and perhaps had one of the most humble testimonies I've ever heard, but at the same time, lifestyle very much like Mickey's. And Mickey had listened, he had had impact, and it had really impacted his life to the point where he had a strong faith. And I was able to be with him, to share with him, to encourage him in the Lord. And then some 4 days later, after he made a decision and accepted the Lord, I had the humbling experience of having his service on national television. And the one thing I remember is that Mickey had a day in New York. They retired his number 7 monument in center field, and he had heard me use these words, and he said, "I want to use them on my day in New York." He didn't have a chance. There was too much going on, not enough time, and so we didn't use them. But on national television, when I had this occasion, I thought they were appropriate. It says, "Your name may not appear down here in this world's Hall of Fame. In fact, you may be so unknown that no one knows your name. The trophies, the honors, the flash bulbs here may pass you by, neon lights of blue. But if you know and love the Lord, then I have news for you. This Hall of Fame is only good as long as time shall be. But keep in mind, God's Hall of Fame is for eternity. This crowd on earth, they soon forget the heroes of the past. They cheer like mad until you fall, and that's how long you last. But in God's Hall of Fame, by just believing in His Son, inscribed, you'll find your name. I tell you, friend, I wouldn't trade my name, however small, that's written there beyond the stars in that celestial hall, for every famous name on earth, or glory that they share. I'd rather be an unknown here, have my name up there." And I guess that really does say it all. What a wonderful friend, and what a great finish to his life.